Good morning, everybody.
Good
Sorry for this technical
difficulties.
problems we ran into. I guess we need a lesson on teaching everybody how to mute themselves. Apparently, muting everybody from this end doesn't work that well.
Yeah.
Anyway, good morning. And we have here Eric, the one scratching his ear,
No.
and Kristin, the one with the long curly hair. How are you guys?
Good.
Good.
We're good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Okay, now, where are you guys from?
So I was born in California and I was raised in Maryland.
I was born in Hong Kong and I was raised in Boston, and now I'm in Maryland.
Really? I didn't realize you were born in Hong Kong.
Ah,
Yes.
Interesting.
yeah.
He was three. He was 3 years old when he came.
Ooh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So now you're in Maryland, right? Actually, you guys don't live too far away from us.
True.
Anyway, okay. What did you do before New Skin?
So I was introduced to New Skin through my mom, actually both of us. So that was in what, 1989 or 90, 89, 90. And it was the two of you who introduced it to my mom. So our New Skin journey is really all about my mom. And you guys approached my mom 4 or 5 times. And I think each time, like you said, she was very, very busy. And I think what happened is that you finally showed her a check. And she called me up and she said, Uncle Pat and Auntie Marguerite want me to do this business. It's called New Skin. And I told her, wait a second, what are you doing? I don't know what this is. And she said, would you help me look into the company? And so I was in medical school at the time, and I was already dating Eric, but we weren't married yet. And so we looked into the company. I talked to her a couple of times. I looked into the products and the science, and I actually called her back and I said, the company actually looks very good. The products look good. And I said, go ahead and sign me up. I'll be your first distributor. So I've been doing New Skin for almost 30 years, I guess. So even though I wasn't full-time, I was always using a product. So I'm a product of the product, and so is Eric, and our kids are also. So that's when we were introduced to New Skin.
Good. Now, what did you do before New Skin? What was your profession? Or what is your profession?
So I was in school. I was in medical school when I was introduced to New Skin. I'm an anesthesiologist and a mom. I think those are, my big time jobs. So I've been practicing for 30 years and in a big hospital. And I did a lot of leadership and training of residents as well as other physicians, and led some groups. So it was my passion to do something where I could use science to serve people and to, I guess, use my brain and get better and make a difference in people's lives. It's very funny because I've really found that parallel in New Skin too, because a lot of their products are based on science, technology, and it's really about helping people. So as a doctor, I'm an anesthesiologist. So when you come in for surgery or you come in to have your baby, I would help you through maybe a difficult time in your life or a very critical time, but I would just do that little bit, and maybe I'm still helping. But I think New Skin changes whole lives, entire lives, where you can really make a difference for a long, long time, like my mom has done for me.
Eric, what did you do?
So I met Kristin in college, and we've been dating since her freshman year. I was studying computer science, and back then, computer science wasn't really a big deal back then. But by the time I graduated, I was able to get a job, which was the normal path for everyone back then. I was very fortunate to be in that uprising career. So I worked 7 years in the corporate world. My last place was Fidelity, where I worked about 5 years. At that point, I realized I needed more control, and that's when I actually started my own company and consulted back to Fidelity and Deutsche Bank in computer consulting and management consulting.
Now, you said something interesting about you were watching Dora, your mother-in-law,
Yep.
your business, compared to your career, so to speak, in IT. What happened there?
We talked a lot. Mom was starting the business, and the big difference is as I started my consulting career, my consulting career, I made a lot of money because I had established myself after 7 years experience, and I could make a lot of money hourly. So I did very well, and actually my business I was able to do my business for 13 years. But Mom started her Nu Skin business, and she, Nu Skin wasn't established back then, and she wasn't making a lot of money. She was making based on sales and based on the business plan. Everything looked good on paper, but she hadn't built her business. But the difference between her business and my business was she was building it from the ground up, and I was just building on my experience. By the time she built her network up, she created, this network in Hong Kong and Asia and Europe. So she didn't make much at the beginning, but if you think about it now, Mom passed away in 2013. And we look back and look at what she left us. That's what we kind of see, looking backwards, we can see connecting all the dots. We can see what she did, all the people she touched, and how big her business really was. Because of all her hard work, we benefited from her legacy of the Nu Skin business. So I think that's how we look at it, is that, wow, it's been 7 years. It doesn't seem that long that when she passed away, but we've had this business for 7 years and she's not even here. So we're so grateful, and we continue to do what she taught us to do in the business, helping other people. I mean, since it's been 7 years, but in those 7 years, I've seen so many of the people that she's trained go on stage to get their 1 million, their 5 million, their 10 million. So not only did she give us something, she gave so many other people an opportunity to build their own business.
Yeah, I also I guess, Uncle Pat, I think you were also asking what's the difference. And I think the difference also is Eric is a business of one. Mom's business leverages how many people, thousands, tens of thousands of people, everybody working together. And that's how the Nu Skin business works, right? You can only work a certain number of hours a day. Even if I take call and I work 36 hours in a row, what if 36 people worked 1 hour?
Tayo mga leaders sa Nu Skin, nagbi-meeting. Sumama ako sa meeting. Yan.
So that's, so I think that's the real difference between, Eric's business, making your own business versus having a Nu Skin business.
Right. Well, now, Kristin, you are a doctor, right? And you have kids.
Yes.
Would you like to have your kids take over being a doctor?
So,
Well, let me put it this way. Can you tell, when you want to by the time you retire, can you tell your daughter, here, Nicole, Mom's going to retirement. Here's my medical degree. Go ahead, practice.
So I think in my profession, many doctors, it's very hard to have your own practice. Maybe it's different in Asia, but in the United States, a lot of the practices have been taken over by big companies, right? And especially in my practice, we work in a hospital, right? So even if Nicole was a doctor and she did anesthesiology, there's no guarantee that she would have my position. I used to be chief and medical director before I went part-time to work more in Nu Skin, but there's no guarantee she would have those things. She would have to rise and do her own work, and then she would have to be chosen on her own merit to follow through with those things. In addition, being a physician is very rewarding, and you make very good income. You work very long hours, and I think the difference between to be a doctor. I get to choose to go into work, and I want to be there, but I don't need to be there. I'm doing it because I have a love and a passion for it, instead of I have to do it to support my family, to pay the bills. And so it's a very different outlook when you think of it that way. I would still choose to be a doctor if I didn't know about Nu Skin, but I think Nu Skin and being a doctor, you can really, really make a difference in lives. So I think that that's the thing. And so far, none of my kids have wanted to be a doctor. So I haven't had that problem with them wanting to take over. But I think all 4 of my kids can take over our Nu Skin business.
Yes.
And
that's the difference, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Your kids can inherit this.
Yes.
That means mom gave you a gift that helped you,
Yes.
your family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Dora has helped many, many people in her organization too, isn't it? That's the beauty about this business. You're not only helping your friends, but your friends' friends and their family. So, you know, this rippling effect can be very, very tremendous.
Yeah.
That's the best part about our business, seriously. Now, let me ask you, what are your favorite products?
So before Age Lock Me and Lumi Spa, if I had to go a couple days where I forgot my Nu Skin products when I traveled, I was okay. But I really, really am panicking if I don't have my Lumi Spa and I don't have my Age Lock Me products. I mean, I love, love, love those. And again, I've been using the products for 30 years. They're excellent products. But in the time that I've been using those two, and my friends and my colleagues at work have said, what are you doing different? So even though I've been using these products for 30 years, they have been asking me, what are you doing differently in the last couple of years? And I definitely know it's those products. Sometimes just to make sure that they're still working, I do half my face just to make sure. And I always see a difference. Even in my own face, in a face that, you know, has been with the products for 30 years, I still see a difference. And I love those products. So.
Yeah. That's why you look so young. You look like you don't look a day over 29.
Oh, you're so nice, Auntie Marguerite. No,
Can't believe you have 4 kids and all of them are in college already.
I know.
Right?
It's incredible.
Yeah. But you know, all my friends that don't know about Nu Skin, and even if I've told them about it, they at, you know, age 40, they're already using Botox and they're doing all these other things that are not necessary if you are able to use our Nu Skin products consistently. You don't need those. But, you know, so a lot of them are like, how, you know, who does your Botox? You know, is the question I get. Who does your Botox? Who do you go to? And I'm like, no, I can show you a different way, a better way, you know.
Yeah, well, that's the difference about Nu Skin's products, right? They do work.
Yeah.
So as a business, right, Nu Skin company's been around over 30 years. So it's a solid company. And like you said, the products are wonderful. So just what we need is what? People that come in to join us, isn't it? Right? And now, let me also ask you this too. The other day we were talking about millennials. Marguerite and I are just a bit too old for millennials. So would you care to comment on that?
I think what we talked about was that the young people nowadays, in the old days, you know, for us, our parents asked us, you know, to study hard, get a good job, work hard, you know, raise your family. And it was very traditional. Nu Skin is very untraditional. You know, most people don't grow up, say, I'm going to grow up and be a Nu Skin business partner. So, you know, nowadays maybe, but back then that was not something that was a sure shot. And so our parents didn't want us to do that. But for us, it was more about security and raising our family and that kind of thing. I think the millennials now, they want to make a difference in the world. They want to leave a smaller footprint environmentally. They want to change lives. They want to do social good. They want to help others. They want to work for companies that are socially conscious, environmentally conscious, who care and can give back to people, the world, our community, our, you know, and fix our climate. So I think in terms of that, it's great that New Skin is a type of company that always gives back, right? So we have our Force for Good, and we help feed children. We do things for restoring vision. We do heart surgeries. We have so many initiatives that are giving back, and the way that our company's innovation is going with the controlled climate agriculture and everything, using less water in a world where we know a lot of things are toxic and contaminated. So our packaging is getting smaller. We're leaving a smaller footprint. New Skin is very, very much on the forefront of all the things the millennials care about. So in addition to having a business where they like to be at home, they like to socialize, they're very social animals, so social media and doing this as a community. New Skin allows them all of that, plus giving back, being environmentally conscious, and kind of having a way to go forward in the future. So New Skin's really a company for young people.
Just to add to what I think, given all the uncertainty in the world, and I know there's a lot of people on the line from Hong Kong, so given how the past 6 months with the riots and now the virus, I think what New Skin's done for us and even for Mom, it gives us control. We talk about financial freedom, we talk about time freedom, but for me, I see a new place that we've kind of in the last 7 years. My mind freedom is, my mind isn't really, I'm not worried about losing my job. I'm not worried about looking for a job. My focus is how I can help people, prepare for what's coming. I think the world's changing so rapidly. The traditional jobs that we've had in the past, usually it was, be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, go into business. But all those fields are kind of merged with technology. So you have to be looking ahead and thinking about, am I doing this job? And is this job going to be there? For us, New Skin, it's health and wellness. And given what's going on with the virus, we're doing something that, is preventative anyways, regardless of the virus. Being healthy and being able to enjoy retirement is something we strive to do every day. So, so I hope everyone, the most I get out of New Skin is actually having the time freedom and the mind freedom to be able to do what we want when we want and not having to worry.
I think Eric's exactly right. I mean, if you look at this coronavirus and how it's affected our world, even 2 months ago, nobody could have predicted that everything would be closed down, that people weren't leaving their homes, that the NCAA is canceled, all colleges are canceled. There are a lot of people, we're very fortunate and very blessed. I think there are a lot of people who are really worried about how are they going to make ends meet. As industries shut down, they're not going to be paid because businesses have to shut down in the coronavirus situation. So I think that New Skin gives another level of certainty where you are, like Eric said, you work for yourself. What you put in is what you get out of New Skin. And it's an opportunity now to help other people, to offer them something different. And in the past, it might not have seemed like something that somebody wanted, but when you think you can't go into work for 2, 3, 4 weeks and you need to pay bills and you need to feed your family, or you have sick people at home or you have kids at home and you can't go to work now, I think this business, you can work from home and you can work at your own pace. And Eric and I always say, you don't need a resume to start in New Skin. They don't care how old you are, what degree you've had in the past. They don't care what experience you have, what gender you are. There's really no barriers to entering New Skin, which is such a blessing if you think about it. We don't have to, interview or submit a resume so that we can start this business. We can just start today. And I don't know how many other ways you can do that and work from home in this climate. We also have to think about, after this sort of settles down, what's that going to look like now that companies know that they can work with fewer people or that the people can work from home? what is the climate going to look like after this all settles out? New skin will still be there, but there are things that are going to change in a lot of industries, I believe, once we're through this, having companies reevaluate how things went in the last couple of months. So.
Yeah. On top of that, a lot of jobs will be replaced by automation. Think about that. A lot of jobs that you have today won't be there a few years down the road. How does that make you feel?
And we talk to our kids about this. We're like, we really have to think about, because even though they do new skin with us, all of them are getting degrees in other things and have other interests. And I think what we've asked them to think about is look ahead to the things that you love and want to do as a job, or as another job, and think about automation and technology and what kinds of things will still be there. Are there things that are going to be obsolete? Are there things that are going to be stagnant? Are there things that are going to be gone in 10 years? So it's really important to look ahead and see, what do you think the future has to hold? You don't want a job that, or if you have a job that you think will be taken over or stagnate, or that technology will take over, it's something that you want to think about innovating so that you can do something different, and also perhaps adding a different business like New Skin, so that you have many different ways of having an income in this climate. So.
Yeah, I mean, totally agree. I mean, I think we all, actually, after you graduate college and you work a few years, you'll learn that you'll start looking for something else. You're looking for an exit, and you may stay in that job till you retire. But I think, at least my generation, we're always looking for something else. So we either would take another job on, or you would try to invest wisely. So you're looking for an exit plan. So I think having that control, I think for our generation, especially with automation coming on, and we know, the thing is, we know this is coming. Having, being prepared and having a second plan, won't hurt you. So, I mean, being more prepared is a much better place. I wish, given what's going on with the virus, as you can see, being prepared makes a big difference.
Yeah. I think even even in medicine. So if you talk about medicine, there are ways of, let's say radiology. If you read a film, a radiologist may be able to say with 98 or 98% accuracy what this is, but a radiologist can work, 10 hours a day. A computer can read it, maybe 99%, and they can work 24/7. They don't need benefits, right? So a lot of radiologists have now gone to interventional radiology, and I don't know, if anybody's unfortunately needed medical care. Radiologists now are doing procedures under the X-ray. So they are not just reading films anymore, because they see that is gone. So they've innovated their roles and advanced with other technology. And I think that's, what people are going to have to look ahead to see. You have a way to do that. And also, you want another thing like New Skin where you can do it from home. A radiologist, if you're going to do interventions, you can't do that from home. I can't do anesthesia from home. I can do New Skin from home. So.
Very good, very good. Now, I think New Skin has allowed Dora to not just introduce a lot of people to New Skin. She has set up something else too. Would you expand on that?
Yeah. So my mom, always, one of the things that most attracted her to New Skin was the force for good. So when we were researching the company, it wasn't just about how good the products were, but it was that it was a company that wanted to empower others and to make a difference in the world. And she really saw that in the force for good. And so Mom herself, early on took her earnings and started the Wing Hang Educational Foundation. So this is based in Hong Kong for students in schools that are sort of government funded and have less resources. And it supports thousands of children in their education every year, doing extra things that they don't have money for, like arts and crafts and getting books and tutoring and trips. Yeah, like I said, like trips outside of the country. Like they may have never left the country to go somewhere else. And so it sponsors trips for these students, and it really changes their lives. You know, these kids that really, you know, we're so lucky that we're able to give our kids exposure to all these things. We take it for granted. But if you're a child whose parents really are making it just day to day, and you don't have any access to arts and music and you know, just culture and traveling, it just makes a huge difference for anybody. And so that's something that was really important to Mom, and Eric and I have continued supporting that. And so it's just another legacy that she's left, that is important that we, I think that when you do Nu Skin, maybe in the beginning it's about kind of building your own business, but I think even your leaders will ask you, can you commit? And I know the Koreans do this as well. I think, you know, how much will you commit to Force for Good? How much will your organization, your group, and everybody's asking you. You ask for donations at Christmas time when we come to your Christmas party. You know, like for Force for Good and for Nurse to Children. So I think all of our leaders are trying to model giving back, helping people who need it. And so Mom's done that. She established a foundation, and you know, we've continued to support that. So,
so through Nu Skin, you help a lot of people within your organization, within the Nu Skin organization, and through your mom's foundation, she's helping a lot of people outside of that organization, isn't it?
Yes.
That's very nice. You know, I wish more people would do that. You know, I mean, there's so many fancy cars and so many around the world trips you can take. So it's about time for you to help someone else that's not in Nu Skin. And, you know, I think that will bring a lot of satisfaction to you.
Yeah. I think actually with the situation now, there's a great opportunity to go out and help other people, because there are older, sick, or, you know, people who actually need help right now. You know, there's, you know, a lot of food banks and elderly people who are afraid to go out or can't get their own groceries. And there's so many opportunities that we have now that there's a crisis, you know, that we're helping. Nu Skin people are helping people. And so I think that we can always find opportunities to serve other people, especially in a crisis, you know?
Yeah. So in a few words, what do you think is your legacy? What have you left?
I hope to leave. I mean, we hope to leave, you know, to our children a way of having time, financial, mind freedom, and then also a mindset of giving back and helping others.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah. Well,
anything, go ahead.
Yeah.
Any other topics you want to bring up that I've not covered?
Does anybody have questions?
Okay, let me unmute. Okay. This will be,
this will be very crazy. Okay, let's mute.
All.
You
got too many people.
Loan benefit.
Too many.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not.
Okay, unmute all. Okay.
Okay.
Unmute, but it doesn't. Yeah, no. Still, everybody, you have to unmute all.
Okay.
Okay, everybody's done now.
Boy. Let me stop the.